From the Channel Seed Studios, welcome to The Hook. A look behind the lines with Mike Palm and Ken Miller. Powered by Circa Sports Iowa. Sports betting the way it should be. This is Iowa Everywhere.
And hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Hook. My name is Ken Miller from KXNO, where I talk sports along with Trent Condon Monday through Friday from 11 until 1. My partner on The Hook is Mike Palm, Vice President of Operations at Circa Sports out in Las Vegas, of course, here in the state of Iowa, soon in Illinois, already in Colorado. So we have a lot to get to. Mike Palm, good to talk to you again. It's been, I'm guessing, a crazy weekend. Do you kind of exhale after the final game on Sunday night?
Yeah, it was a long weekend, a long week for me. Between the travel before and then going to Iowa last weekend and just how busy, it's the busiest 4 days of the year for us. So it's an exhale, but here comes the West region tomorrow night, and people are starting to arrive into town now from the 4 teams. So we have an event in High Limit too for a group from the Midwest. So there's always something going on here. So
of the 4 teams that are headed your way, I guess UConn obviously will bring the fewest fans, I would assume. UCLA, the proximity, but Gonzaga, I mean, they're used to going to Las Vegas for tournaments.
Don't sleep on Gonzaga. I was surprised how many Gonzaga people there were in the D ballroom, the Detroit ballroom at the D. And we have a host from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so not that far from Spokane. Yep. He's got a bunch of people coming from Gonzaga. It still will be a UCLA crowd, but not as much as you think. Maybe it'll be 60-40 UCLA between the two teams.
Well, you were in Des Moines over the weekend. I want to pick your brain on that. But Arkansas, I thought there were more Razorback fans than when the Selection Sunday had come and we knew Arkansas was going to make their way to Des Moines. I thought, I'm not sure how they'll make their way here. But they did. I was surprised.
They were tremendous. Now, of course, there were more Kansas fans.
Sure.
But the first, and you're deceived a little bit because the stands are full for the first game, and then a lot of people leave after that game's over. But definitely you'd rank it. Kansas had the most, then Arkansas. I thought I was unimpressed by the number of Texas fans. I thought they didn't travel that well. I'm probably Texas A&M brought more when they played on Thursday in Des Moines. But I was surprised. I mean, in terms of the crowd, Penn State crowd was probably louder than the Texas crowd during that second game.
Well, we were treated to 2 good basketball games. You were there on Saturday, your home state of Iowa. I thought we showed out very well, Mike. I really did.
Oh, I was the first time I've ever been at the Wells Fargo. I'm used to going to Vets in Des Moines to go down to the high school state tournament games. So it was and concerts at the Vet. I mean, I think I saw the Moody Blues in 1996 at the Vet. Wow. Anyhow, no, it was a beautiful arena. I thought Des Moines did a great job. It was easy in and out. Security wasn't a problem. Very clean restrooms. Everything was great.
So what I've read over the weekend is a number of sportsbook operators that make some of their numbers public were, I think, in unison as far as the weekend that they had profitability-wise for them. Now, the bettors, sometimes they get you, but this was not one of those weekends. Was Circa in the same boat as a number of your brethren out there?
Yeah, we had a great stretch. We had the weekends of the conference tournaments too, Kenny. College basketball is really good and good two-way action, and but we got the best of it. And 3 of the 4 days were mid 6-figure days. Friday was kind of a push, but it was overall between the 3 states for the weekend. It was very, very good. I wish we did that well on Super Bowls.
Really, that has not been the case. So let's go to the very end. I mean, it's been a crazy long 4 days, but the final seconds of the weekend, TCU and Gonzaga, what an incredible finish. If you bet Gonzaga, that's an all-time bad beat. If you bet TCU, you're doing something right in your life. So how was that result for Circa?
It was about 80,000 to the no good, Kenny. It flipped it. There was more money on Kansas State there, but not an earth-crushing day, but it swung at about $80,000. It's hard to believe with 0.7 you could get just a clean 3 from the top of the key.
Yeah, absolutely is. What was your biggest? Who knocked out more parlays over the weekend? Purdue or Kansas?
Princeton. beating Arizona. Princeton beating Arizona was the best result of the weekend for us. We get a lot of Arizona people here, so we had Arizona straight bets, Arizona futures, Arizona on money line parlays. Arizona, that was very good for us. Purdue, not as much. Arkansas was probably more impactful from a game standpoint. Most people took the points with Fairleigh Dickinson against Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
So there are very few money line bets. If you had Purdue, it was in a money line parlay, but it wasn't anything to write home about.
Right. Were you surprised that the public handicapper? My grandpa taught me when he taught me how to read the racing form. I'm talking 50 years ago. One of the first things he taught me: never bet a lot to make a little. And it's something that I've carried with me forever, right? Never bet a 1-9 favorite. They're going to get left in the starting gate or pack 4 wide or whatever. And we saw one of the handicappers that to his customers tried to lead them down the Purdue money line. Now 99 times out of 100, maybe that's a winning bet. I'm not sure it's a good bet because you don't get much return. Now these folks are in a really deep hole. I was surprised that a public handicapper would do that because money management's a big factor when it comes to betting on sports.
He said that he himself bet 60,000 on the game to win 1,300. I know of another person that's a well-known bettor that lost 60,000 live betting Purdue the whole game. Now, not bet 60 to win, but 60 maybe to win, 40 or something. Depends on what prices he got them. But to kept betting that they would win the game all the way along, live betting. Yeah, I more and more, Kenny, look for plus prices in front of anything that I'm betting. I've told you I have a hard time laying more than 160 on anything, especially baseball and hockey. College football is a little different. I think you can put some money line parlays together because of the disparity of talent. Can't be outrun in the short term. But even when I'm looking at totals, I'm always looking to pay to get a plus price on an in-game total, because then when it turns plus the other way, you've locked up a winner. I just can't. I don't subscribe to that school bet a lot to win a little either, or publicly. What you're going to get ridiculed either way if they won or they didn't win.
That's a great point. I never thought about it that way. That guy, he was in a no-win spot, right? For him to even put that out there didn't seem right. Well, let's talk about these games coming up this weekend. Being in Vegas, the 2 games that'll take place tomorrow night, and then obviously the Elite 8 game on Saturday. I have to assume, since it's Vegas, those will be your most. You'll do the most right on those games. Fair to say. Yeah,
UCLA Gonzaga might have done the most right if it was, in a different region. Even that's that's a marquee game, right? The Brands and a 2-3 game. With so many of the top seeds getting knocked out, you're not getting many of these traditional matchups between the seeds that should be there. But with it's here and the proximity and all people that'll be, I think that will dwarf any other game that we see in the round of 16.
So what do you guys have right now? UCLA favored 1.5, opened up a pick 1. Is that line?
It got to 2 and now back to 1.5.
So it's probably going to stay around there, do you think?
Yeah, I think 1.5, 1 probably where it closes.
Do you have an opinion on? Do you like one of these remaining 8 games, Thursday, Friday?
Just to speak to this game, I just think this UCLA team, how he kept this team together for 3 years. Now, I hate that they lost Clark.
Yeah.
But this is such a veteran team, Kenny. You don't keep a core team together for 3 years. I just think they're built for the tournament. They lost a close, tough game to North Carolina in the Sweet 16 round last year. And then they would have got to play St. Peter's if they had beaten North Carolina. So they'd have been a Final Four team again, right?
Yeah.
I'd lean UCLA. I know Gonzaga is dangerous because they're under the radar. This isn't a year where this is going to be Gonzaga's year finally. You didn't hear about them a lot.
Right.
So they're dangerous in that respect. I don't love a lot. I think this FAU team is really good. Tennessee manhandled Duke. Okay, they played a very physical brand of basketball. Give him all marks and credit. Can Rick Barnes do it twice in a row? He hasn't really been able to do it in his career. I think 5 is a tad high there. FAU is a real team, and they're a real. This is not some mid-major. They're a real team. So I lean them in that game. And then it's tough. I don't know if I have any plays on Friday. The numbers are, I lean a little bit. I don't know what Princeton's doing, but they're doing it awful well. I mean, this was a team that was third in the Ivy in life and death in their last 2 games to get in. But I was sitting there, I kept turning my head back at Wells Fargo on the breaks in the game, and what they were doing to Missouri was incredible to me. I didn't know what I was watching on the screen. Missouri's a tough team to play.
Right.
And they just did it well. So the 9.5 might be a tad high. I don't know if I'm going to play that game, though.
Yeah. What about Creighton? It's 9.5, 10. So
I got, and I have 40-1 on Creighton, so I might like to take the 9.5 or find a 10, and I can middle that game, right? I can.
Yeah. Well, I've got 33-1, so that's some good advice because I've got a good Creighton ticket.
So the teams I have left, I have, and they're both in the South. So maybe I'll get a team out of the South. I have Alabama and Creighton left because Marquette was my other ticket, and of course, Michigan State got the best of them.
I have a good Texas ticket. I have a Creighton ticket. I have a UConn ticket, and I thought I had one more. Miami. I bet
everybody in the world has a Miami ticket. They're the liability at everyone.
So who do you guys are you upside down on as far as futures?
UCLA by far is the biggest liability, and then Miami of Florida is second, and Houston's third. But if you put 2, 3, 4, and 5 together, it wouldn't be as big as UCLA.
Wow, so one of those.
We don't need UCLA. Yeah.
So that's just people coming over from California. Is that?
That's people that, but they've always been a top 3 liability. But as the season wore on, we just kept taking more and more futures money on UCLA.
That's not the case in college football, is it?
No, not at all.
I didn't think so. Of the 2 remaining 1 seeds, who doesn't get to the Final Four?
Alabama's playing awfully well.
I keep waiting for Carmen to catch up with him, Mike.
Well, that's what you like to think. My friend who's a professional gambler says the NCAA is not going to let them win because of that. I said, well, can they control it? I can see Texas beating Houston. In the Midwest, those Texas guards they're smooth.
And how about the Sioux?
Yeah, I just watched them in person. Their handles are so smooth, and they didn't even really have a very good shooting game, but they were able to get the ball into the post and take advantage of Penn State there. So I think guard play traditionally dominates this tournament. So I think I would rather be in your position to have your ticket on Texas.
Well, I learned that firsthand because I had a good ticket on Arizona too, and they've got a couple of bigs, and their guard play was severely lacking. And I'm not sure I'll go back for a team that doesn't have guards anymore in this tournament. All right, let's move on as baseball is fast approaching. So let's start with the what we saw last night: Japan and the USA. I have to assume, Mike, that maybe not 9 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 people that walked to the counter bet on the good old USA to beat Japan last night. Was that how it went at Circa?
We needed the USA. They all pounded Japan, and our new Christ figure, Shohei Ohtani. They had Japan heavy in the futures, and they bet him again last night. I was disappointed, Kenny. You get that leadoff runner on against Ohtani in the 9th. You got to do something. You got to try to move them. You got to try to hit and run. I mean, if one hopper bets first pitch and the game's over. I thought they had to be aggressive there. He's throwing 102 miles an hour with a wicked slider. I mean, and he wants every call off 4 inches off the plate, high, low, and everything too.
Yeah, he's something though, man. He is going to break the bank. Where's he going to end up? Is he staying in LA but moving across town?
I don't know. That's what I always thought. I know, we're close with the Padres. They had their marketing team had to put together a plan on what would the economic impact be to San Diego if they went after him, and culturally and everything like that. But he's something. But I would ask these questions, Kenny. Why didn't he start the game last night? Why won't he speak English in interviews? Why do the Angels suck so bad if he's the greatest player of all time?
With Mike Trout.
Why does he want 6 inches in every direction off the plate? And can he propel a team to the playoffs with 6 days of rest every time?
I know what, I hope we find out, because I think baseball needs. I want to see Mike Trout in the postseason, and Ohtani brings a lot of folks to the game. So if he's a Padre, knowing the economic impact study's already been done, how many of their marketing partners will be able to stay with him? Because I got to think the price of poker is about to go up.
We might have to sell off one of the properties, Kenny.
I'm not. I don't think. I know you're being facetious, kinda, but that's going to be expensive. All right, we did the Central divisions when we were last on. Let's go to the Eastern divisions, both the American and the National League. I think that this is both of these leagues, especially the National League East. I can make a case, and I don't think you would shoot me down in the National League East for 3 teams. I think in the American League East, I'm not sure Baltimore is there yet. Tampa Bay confounds me each and every year. I think this is finally going to be the year they have a bit of a drop off. But let's start in the American League. The Yankees were swept 4 straight by the Astros. They've got a bunch of injuries, but they've got Aaron Judge. Where are you on the Yankees as far as some of the numbers that you've seen? What catches your eye in the American League East?
The Blue Jays catch my eye. And they're short. I mean, they're the second choice, around 175, 180. Yankees 93 and a half, 94 wins. Blue Jays are 93. I think I like this Blue Jays team better than the Yankees, though. Ryu's a big question mark. Now, he's not going to be back till probably mid-July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Off the Tommy John. But look, this rotation here, and you lose Stripling. I like Stripling a lot.
I did too. Giants have him.
Manoah, Barrios was terrible on the road. Chris Bassett,
good pickup
coming up. That's a very good undersold. Yusei Kikuchi, can he get his form back? Then you have Ryu, still Gaussman. I mean, his name was late the last 3 years in Cy Young voting, right? Mm-hmm. So, yep. And then I think I like their lineup. I think their lineup's deeper than the Yankees. I don't particularly love the Yankees lineup once they get through 4. I think. Go ahead, Kenny.
I was just going to say, this is my team, so I know the Jays very well, and I'm with you. Nate Pearson's been their guy in waiting, their ace in waiting for the last 3 years. He can't figure it out. You're right about Ryu when he comes back. I love their closer, Romano. They've got something there. They bring over Dalton Varsho from the Diamondbacks. They had to give up their most prized possession in the farm, but he was blocked by Alejandro Kirk. A kid's name is Gabe Marino, who's now going to be the opening day catcher, I would think, for the Diamondbacks. But Varsho's got power. Kiermaier comes over from Tampa Bay. Not what he was offensively, but defensively, as good as center fielder, I think, still in the game. You know what Springer brings to the table? I haven't even mentioned Bichette, and I haven't mentioned Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This team, Matt Chapman at third base, they're loaded.
How about they pick up Whit Merrifield from the
the Royals was a September deadline deal last year. So I think that this team, if this team is going to get there, because I think Baltimore's coming, I really do. I think that the time is now for the Toronto Blue Jays.
You think the Orioles are going to make some noise here?
I do, just because all those number 1 picks that they seemingly have had for the last decade, aren't they sooner or later? Like, I love Rauschman. And isn't he Derek's guy?
He's Derek Love. I've never heard Derek Love a kid coming up more than Adley Rauschman.
Yeah. Oh. Adam Frazier, Gunnar Henderson, they've got some nice players over there. I don't think they're going to contend, but I wouldn't be surprised if, they could probably win 78, 80 ball games this year. What's their number?
Total 77.
Okay. So I like it a little bit over.
I like the Red Sox under. The Red Sox are the same number, 77, as the Orioles.
Don't like them at all.
I like them under 77. What do you have to have here? You have to have the resurrection of Sale, the resurrection of Kluber, Paxton. I mean, he could be a wild card for them. I don't like adding Kenley Jansen. I don't like their lineup past 3. I think they're on the way. They have a shot. I would look at a shot for Red Sox to finish 5th in this division too. If you could get plus 250 or something like that. Probably won't be able to find that price, but they're pretty similarly priced to the Orioles.
Who do you fear as far as, if it's not the Red Sox finishing last? Is it Tampa?
I wonder about Tampa in that Glasnow's never healthy. they had a bunch of kids up and down, but they've never really developed starters because they have this whole system of openers. McClanahan's really their only true starter. They pick up Eflin, who was probably the fourth starter for the Phillies last year. They're probably going to use him in the number 2 or 3 spot. I fear him a little bit. I fear that, to your point, I think the Brewers and the Rays are kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
The window's closing.
Yep. Couldn't agree with you more. Let's go over to the National League, where the Braves, this number snuck up on me. Go ahead.
Why are these Braves they're such a heavy favorite here? 95.5 wins. That's a big number.
They've won it 5 times.
They're a minus number to win the division. We'll see. I just think they're I'm not saying they're not going to. I just think that's an aggressive number. I couldn't play it over.
Well, I think the whole division. I mean, you can make a case for the Mets, despite the fact Diaz. I mean, that's a huge loss. I love the Phillies. Let's not forget they represented the National League. I'll tell you why the Braves are. It's Max Fried. It's Spencer Strider. It's Kyle Wright. Did Kyle Wright not lead the National League in wins last year? I think he did.
Yeah, Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson. Morton. How about Soroka?
Is he ever going to get back?
I don't know, but they have 6 legitimate starters if he does. It's just a really aggressive number and what I think is a decent division, to win 95.5 games. It's a young team.
Yep.
The bullpen's not that bad. The bullpen's decent. Yeah, I mean, you can make the case. I just have to throw the Mets out because of Diaz. I draw a line through him.
Now, John Heyman, pretty good baseball mind with one of the tabloids out in New York. He thinks that the Mets should go out and get Diaz's brother, who's the closer for the Reds, who's, I guess, he didn't pitch at all in the minor leagues when the minor leagues had the COVID shutdown. He's a younger version of Edwin. They think he might be, I mean, you're asking a lot, right? The Diaz is one of the best closers. Big Brother's one of the best closers in baseball. But they, too, believe that this Mets team can't get over the hump just because they don't have Diaz coming out of the bullpen. They lose DeGrom, who's always hurt. I mean, he's terrific. But they bring over Justin Verlander, who just won the Cy Young, for crying out loud. You can't play him at all?
I can't play him. I'd rather take a shot with the Phillies at 88.5 wins than the Mets at 92.5.
Trey Turner was a huge pickup. Look at the weekend you
get Harper's supposed to be back late June. Castellanos, I still think, is one of the most underrated hitters in baseball. But think you start the lineup: Turner, Schwarber, Hopkins, Realmuto, Castellanos, and Harper's not even in there yet. You know what I mean?
Did you even mention Hoskins?
I didn't even say Hoskins yet.
Right.
I mean, so. I still think they need more help. Now they picked up Kimbrel.
Yep.
I'd still look to fortify that bullpen.
Yeah.
That was their big downfall last year during the regular season. The bullpen was off.
We'll save the West for next week when we are 2 days away from opening day in Major League Baseball. What's opening day going to be like this year in the books? I mean, everybody plays, so you got to like that.
It's the first time everybody's been playing. It's on time. We're doing a big celebration. We're going to have Greg Maddux throw out the first pitch. Former Major League pitcher Josh Towers is going to catch it.
Nice.
We have hot dogs, apple pie, all moms drink free all day in the book. So It's an all-American opening day here at the Circus Sportsbook.
So you're going to build a mound?
We're building a riser and a mound on top of the riser. He's going to throw 60 feet, 6 inches.
Is he really?
Yes.
Has he been loosening up a little bit in the spring?
He's known about it for a month. So he's promoting his charity poker tournament that he's going to have at the end of April. And we're going to do a raffle. It's called Baller Dreams. They help young people with cancer. We're going to do a raffle. Anybody that donates $100 or more to Baller Dreams, we'll do a raffle and we'll pull one person to get a seat into that charity poker tournament on April 30th.
That's outstanding. Well, as you know, some of the Iowa Everywhere crew has already landed out in Vegas. They might be checking in as we speak. I get there tomorrow. What are you doing? When are you and Chris and John sitting down? Are you and Chris? Do you know your schedule?
I'm going to go. They're on noon to 2 Pacific time from Stadium Swim Thursday, Friday. I'm going to do 12:30 to 1 on their show tomorrow.
12:30 to 1. Oh, 12 Pacific time.
Oh, Pacific. So 2:30 to 3 Central time. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of content coming up. I know that on Saturday they're going to watch the games from Bar Canada. Now, will you put a hockey game up at Bar Canada?
Oh, yes, they'll all be up.
They really will.
Every hockey game in the National Hockey League gets shown on Bar Canada.
So tomorrow when I get to town, and my Jets are on the West Coast, they're in Anaheim.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, basketball.
Come to Bar Canada. Come over. I'll be at Bar Canada.
You will?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my hangout, Kenny, unless there's a ballroom to run or something. I stay at Bar Canada. That's the best viewing experience.
It's great. I agree with you. Are you opening the ballroom this weekend? I mean, I know you had so much
Circa,
last
yes. It's not
Circa,
at the
yes.
team. Circa Ballroom will be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Is there a charge to get in there?
Nope, free viewing party.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. Well, I will see you tomorrow. What time will you be there till the end of the games tomorrow night?
Well, Kenny,
because I land at 4:30.
Oh yeah, well, I mean the first game's 3:30. The game should be done around 9, shouldn't they, tomorrow? Pacific.
I hope.
Yeah, last tip is 6:45 UCLA. So yeah, I'll probably be here till 9:30. What time do the Jets go off? At 7?
7 Pacific, yeah. I'll say 7:05. They need to win. What have you been seeing in the NHL lately?
They're playing the Ducks, so that's.
They should.
They should.
Mm-hmm. What's caught your eye in the NHL since last time we spoke?
Colorado is going to be a tough out in the West again. They're showing the signs of not because they're as good as they were last year, but they're showing signs that they might just be the best team in the West anyhow.
If not them, who?
Well, I still like Dallas with Ottinger, and they beat, but now they lose at home to the Kraken last night. They beat Colorado pretty good a couple Saturdays ago, but it's really wide open in the West. I guess you could say it's wide open in the East. All the teams are better, but because
there's so many good teams.
I want to make a case for Toronto. I really do, because all the years they should have beaten Boston and didn't. This year they shouldn't, but could they? Played a good game with the Islanders last night. They had a horrific last 6 minutes of the second period. They couldn't get the puck out of their zone. They turned it over. They gave up, but they fought back. The team's dangerous. It's a dangerous team because they can win games 2-1 and 3-2, where in previous years they didn't do that too often.
No, and I mean just to get out of the Atlantic, it's daunting. I mean, you got to get by Boston, you got to get by Tampa. Florida will probably sneak in. I love your Senators. I don't think they can get in.
They won't.
But that's the team to watch for next year. Good stuff. You know who I cashed a couple of buys? I sold some Carolina Hurricanes.
You did?
Yeah, Svechnikov. I mean, we're losing him. I think that's a fatal blow to their chances.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow, Mike Palm. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for watching The Hook. There'll be plenty of coverage coming up from Las Vegas. Chris Williams, John Miller, Matt Van Winkle. I'll be out there. Mike will be joining it as well. We'll be coming to you live from Circa Stadium Swim tomorrow. We'll see you out in Las Vegas. Mike, we will see you at the D at Bar Canada. And thanks for watching The Hook. We'll see you next time.